Hey there, I'm Brian Moses, founder of Real Estate Training Breakthroughs, customized coaching and seminars with a valuable listing presentation tip for you. I can only tell you that I've been on thousands of listing appointments over the years, and there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And the wrong way to do it is to do it the way that everybody else does it, where you go in with your binder and you talk about how big your brokerage is and how they have international referrals and they're well-recognized brand, blah, 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 blah. That's not very effective. The other thing that's not very effective is trying to win a listing on personality. So the key, there's a lot of little moving parts to a successful listing presentation. You have the introduction and the tour. I actually have ways that we eliminate the competition by creating doubt in the mind of the consumer without disparaging the competition, which will give you a leg up. Then we get into managing the client's expectations because they want to hear all about price. But as soon as you give them the price, they shut down and they don't want to hear anything else about what you're going to do to sell their home. So you have to manage their expectations, and that's a process in and of itself. Then you get into the benefits portion of the presentation, which I'm going to give you a great tip on how to differentiate yourself today in this short little segment. After the benefits presentation, you want to check in with them, make sure that you're winning, that you've differentiated yourself successfully versus all the competition. And I have some great questions that I ask about, are you starting to see that all real estate agents aren't alike? That there's a lot more to getting your home sold at the top of the market than just picking any rando agent? And are you comfortable with my skills and qualifications, or would you like to hear more? And I do that every single time on every one of my listing presentations after I've concluded the benefits. Then we go and move on to pricing. And then after pricing, we do net sheet. And we go through all of the expenses associated with selling a home so a seller can make a decision, because a confused mind will do nothing. They'll tell you they have to think about it. So, and then we get into the paperwork and how do we transition to close the listing, so to speak, so that it doesn't sound like you're closing the listing. So anyway, there's a lot of moving parts, but in today's short video, I want to give you a tip for differentiating yourself, because let's face it, we all have a real estate license and we all do a lot of the same things. And in marketing, there's a term called preemptive marketing. When you make a big, giant, outrageous deal about what you do and you package it in a way that it sounds unique, even though other people do it. And I'll give you an example here today. So let me, when we get into the benefits portion of the presentation, each benefit, and I would suggest that you have a minimum of 3, probably 5 to 7 that you're prepared to go with, so that you stand out and you create doubt in the consumer's mind. Now, when you're getting into the benefits, the one thing that sellers care about is what's in it for them. How are you going to get them the most amount of money for their house? Because let's face it, pricing is not an exact science. There's a range. A 3-bedroom home with 2 baths and a 2-car garage. There's some that sell at the bottom of the market and some that sell at the top of the market. And amenities and condition, all of that stuff goes into play. But ultimately, what determines if a seller gets the top of the market is supply and demand. So here we go, presenting my first benefit. Mr. and Mrs. Seller. It stands to reason that the single greatest factor that's within your control is the agent you select. And the reason that's the most important variable in the whole process is because your agent is directly responsible for the activity that your property gets. The more activity, the better chances you have of getting a higher price. Said differently, price is driven by supply and demand, and the more demand you get, the better price you'll receive. Does that make sense, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Great. So let me share with you a few things that we do that significantly increase the demand that I think you'll find advantageous. Whether you use me to market your property or you pick somebody else, you're going to want to make sure that they do these things. So the first is, I have a question for you, Mr. Seller. How do you think buyers find out about property? The majority, certainly they could drive by, see your sign, But that's not the majority. How do the majority of buyers search for homes? Now that is called seeding or priming. I'm asking a question that I know the answers to, and they're going to say, well, probably on the internet. And I'm going to go, fantastic. I agree. 95% of buyers start their search on the internet. So how important is it that your property, that we leave no stone unturned, that it's all over the internet? Not just on realtor.com, not just in the MLS, not just on Zillow, but when you hire me to market your property, we actually syndicate your home to hundreds of different websites. And it happens automatically by all the subscriptions that we belong to. We spend thousands of dollars, our company spends thousands of dollars per month to syndicate our listings to all these great sites. So can you see the importance of leaving no stone unturned? We don't know if your buyer is going to come from Trulia. We don't know if your buyer is going to come from Google. We don't know if your buyer is going to come from LandWatch or Front Door or Yahoo. But you don't want to leave any stone unturned, do you? So price is a function of supply and demand. This is one of many ways that we use to increase the demand on your listing. Now, I'm curious, Mr. Seller, did the other agents that you've interviewed share with you their strategies for website syndication? I create doubt. They go, no, they didn't. Interesting. If they or their company was spending thousands of dollars to do this, don't you think that they'd mention it to you? Interesting. Then I go on to the second benefit, the third benefit, and then I check in with them. So every single one of you watching this today can use this, can borrow this. We'll give you the PDF of this little piece, and you can change Pete to your name or your real estate website. This is from my good friend, Pete Middleton, who is a successful luxury agent in both La Jolla and Nashville, La Jolla, California, and Nashville, Tennessee. And he's absolutely crushing it, and he uses this on every single listing presentation. So thanks for that, Pete. Thanks for that share. And I hope that this was valuable to you all. And if you'd like more information on our coaching, our training, our services, feel free to visit brianmoses.com and schedule a free coaching call. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.